Shalom to the hopeful elect. This is the brother Ba. You're back here once again. Before I get started, like always, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Chah, Bahasham, Rakahakwadash. The bonus to my teachers, the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom, peace and blessings goes out to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom, shalom. Yeah, man, I'm gonna title this, Will They Make Their Move After the Olympics? Because I was just thinking about some things, putting some pieces together in my head. You know, you just sit and meditate on things that's going on. Well, you're supposed to, anyways. If you're a prophet or watchman, you're supposed to be meditating on these end time prophecies and thinking about, likely scenarios that could happen, in the coming days, months. All right. This is basically based off the news that's just coming in that basically Russia is going to invade Ukraine. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when they do that, um, America's most likely going to respond with sanctions, and Putin has already come out and said that if America puts sanctions on them, that they're going to declare they're going to look at that as an act of war. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find that real quick. See if I can find that article. Hold on one second. Let me try to reword it like the article says. Putin tells Biden. All this news is just now breaking. Yep, it is. Sky News says Putin tells Putin tells Biden imposing sanctions will be seen as an act of war. So Russia's going to invade Ukraine, parts of Ukraine, all right, the parts that they can get a hold of, and America's most likely going to respond how they usually respond with sanctions, and that's going to be seen as an act of war. You just heard what what Putin, the warning Putin gave to Biden, and Russia's not playing because the scriptures tell us that the Lord is putting the hooks, all right, back in the jaws of Russia. But I'm gonna get that. But the Olympics they start in February. Okay, they're the month of February. It's gonna be ran from February 4th to February 20th. Um, and they're gonna be held in China. Now we already know that China and Russia has basically made a pact together that they're ready to stand their ground when it comes to America. This great horde that right up upon the beach. They're not just going to back down anymore. All right, they're ready to play big games now. All right, they're playing the big boy games now. During this Olympics, China's also going to be testing their new digital yuan, the digital currency, with all the international athletes that come to participate in the Winter Olympics. Why is this important? Because these nations are trying to leave under that foothold, which is the petrodollar, all right, which has put America on the forefront as a world superpower, all right, to where they can put sanctions on countries, to where you got to move your oil through the dollar, all right, you have to trade through this dollar because it's the world reserve currency. So these countries are looking at digital currencies, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, as a way to break free from the foothold of America's monetary hold that they have on the world. So they're going to be testing out this with, athletes from around the world during this Olympics. Now, here it is, you have all this animosity brewing up between Russia, China, and America, and Iran and Israel. But after February, which is the Olympics, what do we have? We have March, all right? And March is known as what? The month of war, all right? It says the meaning of March comes from ancient Rome in Latin. It was called Martius Mensis, or the month of Mars, the Roman god of war. March was the first month in the early Roman calendar because war would start again after the winter. And we know that we're dealing with this Gregorian calendar, which is a Roman calendar. And we know that America in this beast system, right, NATO, all of that is the revised Roman Empire. We're living in the last empire, which was prophesied by Daniel, the 10 toes, okay? So we seen how 2020 ended with these rumors of wars. Okay, Matter of fact, let me get that. Might as well get that real quick. We always gotta bring the scriptures up, man. 2020 ended with the rumors of wars, but as we just entered into what they call the new year on this Roman calendar, is 2022, right? And Russia is not backing down with the recent news that has come out. They're not backing down, and they want to fulfill what they want. They want to fulfill their agenda now. All right, they tired of just doing whatever the fuck America wants them to do. But this is Matthew, and America still, don't get it twisted. America's still a superpower because the Lord set America up. The 10 toes is the last kingdom to reign before the kingdom of heaven, not Russia, not China. So these nations have to move strategically. They can't just do whatever the fuck they want when they want, because America is still stronger monetarily, militarily, and religiously, right? So these nations have to make these pacts and treaties and move strategically. They have to, you know, play their cards right, so to say. And they're doing it because the Most High is also using them to take down the power that He set up. All right. This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." For hey, all these things got to come to pass, and we're seeing these things start to come to pass. Come to pass. Now, jump into this article here, which was dated last month of now last year, 2021 in December. It says the Cassandra forecast Biden's 2022 global war. Right, and it's gonna give us reasons of why it believes, this war can break out in 2022, which Elder Apostle Sahar has coined this the year of the turn up, the year of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah turning up, right? And we see that with these judgments, right? These wicked Israelites that speak negatively about the truth, they've been getting judged, put to death. But anyways, it says December has arrived and it's time to forecast 2022. I'll start the ball rolling by framing the most gloomy scenario. 2022 could mark the end of the world via global war and nuclear exchanges. All right, let's start right there. Because a lot of times, well, these Edomites, scriptures tell us that they think their houses shall continue forever. So they think if a nuclear war happens, that the whole world is just gonna end, right? Which no, okay, you Edomites, you so-called white people, y'all ain't the end all be all. All right, the scripture say Esau is the end of the world, Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. Okay, the Lord didn't create the earth just to destroy it off the existence of creation. All right, let's get two scriptures to back that up real quick. Revelation chapter 21, verse Revelation chapter 21, verse I think, yeah, it's first verse. It says, "And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away." That's the rulership, the current rulership, which is ruled by Esau, the so-called white people on this earth. All right, NATO, the European Union, America. It says, "For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea." Right? And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from the Most High of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. This current earth is cleansed by the nuclear fire. All right, that's what's going to happen. America's going to be completely destroyed. The scriptures speak about that. The whole earth is still going to be here because the scriptures tell us that the earth abideth forever. Uh, Isaiah chapter 65, verse see, straight to the point. Verse 17, it says, "For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come into mind." And that's why we try to tell our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the Hebrew Israelites, that there's something greater than this current world that you're living in, this current age. This is not the end all be all. Stop putting all your chips and riches here and set your mind on the kingdom, which is the world to come that's going to last forever. All right. So continuing on this article, it says 2022 can mark the end of the world via global war and nuclear exchanges. Most Americans will find that forecast surprising and offensive. we tend to be optimistic. Beijing's, I don't know what that means, but if the sun rose today, certainly it will rise the same way tomorrow. Yeah, because they believe that the houses shall continue forever, but whatever. But unfortunately, there are black swan events, unexpected shocks to the system that totally change the future, right? And it says, and today we confront two black swans, Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. Both are brilliant, experienced leaders. Um, let me see. Both have consolidated power within brutal systems. Both are committed nationalists who see themselves as as major historical figures. Both are men of action, willing to take large, calculated risks. Hmm. And both likely understand that 2022 is the year they must act. Hmm. It says Putin is dedicated to the defense and rise of Russia. He seeks strategic territorial expansion, the destruction of NATO. So that lets us know all this shit with NATO and America trying to talk to Russia. It ain't gonna work because he wants NATO destroyed. Why was NATO formed? Any goddamn way combat the old Soviet Union, right? But it says the destruction of NATO and eventual political hegemony over Europe. The coming year could be the key stepping stone for his dreams. So basically, he wants to be the world superpower, which we know that ain't gonna happen because it wasn't prophesied in the book of Daniel of Russia being the last kingdom. It was prophesied that Russia will be the force that America uses to help take down the last kingdom. So that lets us know this is the end. We at the end. It says a first step will be invading Ukraine, giving Russia an economic boost and consolidating Black Sea strategic access. Russian troops are already massing on the border. Here we go. They're making their move. They're making their move, right? And they believe 2022 is the year. It says he envisions political hegemony over East Asia and beyond, because they want to be the next superpower. Right? It says the next step would be the invasion and conquest of Taiwan, where he is upping military pressure. And America already told them, don't fuck with Taiwan. But Russia and China gonna do what the hell they want to do when they get down to it, because the Lord got put in the spirit on them to be divisive, right, and combative towards America's will. It says at the same time, Iran and its leaders dream of destroying Israel and gaining Middle East hegemony. See, when really we know it's Israel who wants to just keep everybody under his will. All right, the state of Israel. All right, not the children of Israel, because the children of Israel, the actual chosen nation, the Hebrew Israelites are in captivity right now. They've been scattered through the four corners of the earth, and they're mainly, all right, living in America. Let me prove that. Let's get that in Luke, 21st chapter, when the Lord told Judea, the southern kingdom. You had remnants of the northern kingdom still there too, but it was mainly the southern kingdom because northern kingdom, the 10 tribes, was already over here in the Americas. He told them they was going to have to flee from Roman persecution in 70 AD. But he told them once they left the land, that's what would happen. Luke chapter 21, verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So the Gentiles are not only got their foot on the necks of the children of Israel where they are scattered, they also are occupying the Holy Land right now. Continuing back on this article, it says, all of them, who's all of them? China, Russia, Iran, all of them recently have engaged in joint war games, and all may be coming to believe that 2022 is their once in a lifetime opportunity. The reason? President Biden, all right? The president that shits on himself and wears a diaper and forgets where he's at on the podium. Having flashbacks of his past life being a Roman Caesar. All right. New U.S. presidential administrations are always tested by global adversaries in the first year. Mm. The Biden administration, And that's a good point, right here where it says new U.S. presidential administrations. When a new president is elected in the office, the other nations, the adversaries, like to test them, see what they're built of. Yeah, it says the Biden administration failed miserably with the Chinese in Anchorage, with the Russians in Geneva, with Hamas after bribing them to cease their rocket attacks on Israel, with the world in Glasgow, and with Xi Jinping on a recent video call. The U.S. military displayed an astounding lack of leadership and judgment in the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Everyone has seen Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, General Mark Milley, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in action. So basically, they're saying the whole administration of Biden is weak, right? Let me see what else. Let me drop down here. It says America is at its weakest political. Uh, America is at its weakest politically in decades. Our enemies have seen all they need to see. They will act before the American political equation changes next November. See, winter is coming, and that often is the time to attack. See, Americans are always shocked when our enemies act, but Russia's Putin and China's Z know that to become true historical figures, they must act when the time is right. The problem for America is that our enemies may well act together. Hmm? That's that pact. They gonna come together. They gonna jump this hole. You know how you got the big bully on the block? You gotta jump them. They gonna jump them, and they looking for the right time to attack. And it may well be after these Olympics, man, in the month of war, Lord willing. Um, so you can read the rest of this. I'm actually gonna continue to read on this after I upload this video. But I just wanted to point out one thing, that the Olympics is in February, and that we're in very very serious times, man. So I said I wanted to get that the hook scripture, but Gog and Magog in Ezekiel, 38th chapter. As a prophets, we got to point these things out. Bring these things to the people's minds that are watching and tuning in and believing on the return of Yahushua Hamashiach, to let you know how close we really are. For our salvation is nearer than when we believe. Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 3. And say, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shemel, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. So the Lord is against Russia too, right? The Lord is against all these nations. He chose one nation, but he's going to use them, all right? It says, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And that's why you're seeing Russia act the way they act, because we're in a time of war, right? So, like I said, I just wanted to don't want to go into too much on this. I just want to bring out the fact the Olympics come up in February, and the month of March is the month of war. So, Lord willing, this does kick off around this time. Lord willing, for this is the year of the turn up, the year of Yahweh Shalom turning up, and we are here to hasten the day. So, I hope this is edifying. Until next time, I say Shalom.